Hi, welcome to the course on penetration testing and ethical hacking. My name is Ken Underhill, and in this course, we're going to do a prep for the Certified Ethical Hacker examination. So some of the things that we're going to cover in this course, we're just going to go through the course modules. So module 1, we're going to cover the basics. So that's like why you should even be a penetration tester or ethical hacker. We're going to also cover some of the basic knowledge you're going to need to know to be successful in this course. And we'll also cover things like black, white versus gray hat, blue versus red team, script kiddies, and more. In Module 2, we're going to jump into footprinting. So if you just think of this as we're gaining information on our target. So we're going to do passive and active footprinting. We'll talk about the differences. We're also going to have some labs to show us some different ways that we can gather information about a target. In Module 3, it's kind of a bigger module. We're going to do scanning and enumeration, which are separate sections on the EC Council official material. And then also we're going to incorporate vulnerabilities, which is a new section on the newer examination they have out. So we're going to incorporate basically 3 sections, and there's not a whole lot of information on vulnerability, so we just kind of tuck it in there as well. So we're going to learn about things like the 3-way handshake, TCP header flags, different types of scans that we can do, fingerprinting operating systems. We're also going to learn about different vulnerability scanning tools, and much, much more. In Module 4, we're going to go over system hacking. So that's where we're going to talk about things like backdoors, remote access Trojans, steganography, etc. Number 5, we have malware. So we're going to talk about worms, viruses, Trojans. We're going to talk about a little bit about banking Trojans, and that's one of the focuses of the new examination material from EC Council. They talk about a lot about banking Trojans. In Module 6, we have sniffing. So we're going to use tools like Wireshark, and we're going to try to see what kind of information we can gather from the network. Module 7, we have social engineering. So we're actually going to do a lab where we do a little social engineering reconnaissance. So it's a good, fun lab that you can do like on yourself and see what kind of information you have out there, and then also on your family and friends as well. Module 8, we jump into denial of service and distributed denial of service. So we talk about things like botnets. Module 9, we move into session hijacking. So we actually have a lab where we do some session hijacking and we gather some information. And then Module 10, we combine web servers and a web application, which again are 2 separate sections on the EC Council official material, and we just combine it into that, and we talk about some different common attacks and the client-server relationship. In Module 11, we're going to talk about SQL injection, and we're going to talk about the different types of attacks that you can do with it. Module 12, we jump into Wi-Fi, so basically hacking Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and we talk a lot about wireless networks. Module 13, we go into our mobile section, so mobile hacking and security. We talk about different operating systems, so Android, iOS, common attacks for each one, and then also some of the tools that we can use for those attacks. Module 14, we have intrusion detection and prevention systems, firewalls and honeypots. Module 15, we go into IoT. So this is a newer section on the new material for the Certified Ethical Hacker exam. And basically, if you think of IoT devices, you'll notice the mobile section and those correlate a lot on the different types of attacks. Module 16, we cover the cloud. So we talk about different types of cloud solutions or cloud services. We also talk a little bit about cloud attacks as well. In Module 17, we go over cryptography. So we learn different things like the difference between symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. We also talk about hashing, and we do an actual hashing lab where we analyze a couple of photos. And finally, we wrap up the course with Module 18. That's our report. So we actually go through a report template at a high level, just walking you through some of the things you would need to list on a penetration report. So you might be wondering, well, who am I? Well, of course, my name is Ken Underhill. I'm a certified ethical hacker as well as a computer hacking forensic investigator. Again, both those certifications are through EC Council. I'm also an adjunct professor of digital forensics. I do write questions for the computer hacking forensic investigator exam, as well as I've reviewed content for the newer version of the certified ethical hacker exam. And no, I can't share the answers with you. I also hold a master's in cybersecurity and information assurance, as well as an undergraduate in information systems and cybersecurity management. I've also helped thousands of people globally pass both the certified ethical hacker and the computer hacking forensic investigator exam. So how is this course structured? Well, we're a lot of sections. We're going to start off with a couple of pre-assessment questions as well as some post-assessment questions. You also notice that throughout the different labs as well. Basically, if I think you need to understand something a little better, I'll list a couple of questions to test your knowledge. Now, also, I want to point out in Module 1, you should have some downloadable resources along with like notes and stuff like that to help you out. We're also going to have video lectures, so predominantly video lectures as well as a lot of labs to give you that hands-on experience. And then, as I mentioned, resources to help you as you study for the actual Certified Ethical Hacker examination, to help you retain the knowledge. And I'm going to share with you my actual notes that I use to pass the exam, as well as some tips that I've got for you covering the information on the newer material for the exam. Again, I'm not going to give you any exam questions or tell you what's on the exam, but these are things that I think you probably want to know, even not for the exam, but more so in industry as well. So in the next section, we're going to go over to Module 1, the basics. So again, that's going to cover things like why you should become an ethical hacker or penetration tester, different types of things you might need to know about in advance, so things like the OSI model, the differences between black, white, and gray hat, different laws that we need to know about, as well as the CIA triad, and much, much more. We're also going to have a fun little quick win lab in there, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, so make sure you look at Module 1 and check out that lab.